Hi, welcome back. Welcome to Insect Pests of Crops lecture series. So in this lecture or one or two lectures from here, we'll be discussing about the pests of pulses. Okay, if you look at the major pulse crops which are grown in India, which includes red gram, chickpea, black gram, green gram, arse gram, lub, cowpea, cluster bean, like this, the list actually goes on. If you look at the nutritional parameters of pulses and cereals, so more or less they have got similar nutrition content like total carbohydrate, fat, niacin, riboflavin, thiamine, and vitamin B6. But the pulses differ from cereals in having higher protein content, folate, iron, magnesium, potassium, and zinc. So as a result of that, people prefer to use more pulses. Okay, and if you look at the phenology of the plant, okay, so most of these pulse crops have got pods, okay, and these pods bears number of seeds, okay, which is very important and economically important part. Okay, so and now like any other plant they have got no number of foliage, the leaves, and both parts as well as the foliage are susceptible to number of insect species attack. So sometimes they may also be susceptible to many of these pulse crops are also susceptible to various insect pests even in the underground parts. Okay, so the most economically important part is pod. So in this class we'll be discussing about the borer pests of these pulses, especially the pod borers, which includes gram pod borer, Helicorpa arbigera, spotted pod borer, Maruca vitrata, plume moth, Exilastis atomosa, Oriental blue butterfly, Lampidus bioticus, spiny pod borer, Etiella ginkinella. Very easy to remember this scientific name, right? Field bean pod borer, Adisura atkinsoni, tour pod fly, Melnagromyza obtusa. So we'll take one by one. So these are the habitus photographs of different pod borer pests. Helicorp parmigera, you can see very characteristic, which places only the head and thoracic parts and feeds on the seeds. Lampidus bioticus, Adisura atkinsoni, Maruca vitrata, Exilastis atomosa, Etiella ginkinella. So these are the 6 or 7 very important pod borer pests of pulses. So we'll take one by one. Gram pod borer, Helicorpa armigera, belongs to family Noctuidae and Lepidoptera. So host plants includes, in fact, it attacks more than 100 host plants, mainly cotton, pigeon pea, chickpea. That means commercial crops, pulse crops, tomato, and range of vegetables, number of vegetables, and many pulses. In fact, if you look at the distribution, you can see except North America. Okay, so it is distributed everywhere. So in fact, this species is considered as a number one pest of the world. Okay, number one pest of agriculture, attacks range of host plants, and very serious wherever it is actually found. The nature of damage is that initially the early stars may feed on foliage, acts as defoliator, or sometimes they may also attacks the flower buds. But later, in fact, they prefer to attack the economically important part of the plant. So whether it may be cotton or pulses or vegetables, it prefers to attack the economically important part. That's where the problem become accentuated very high, because it attacks the economically important produce, the part of the plant. Okay, here in the case of pulses, the larvae bore into the pods and feeds on the internal content by thrusting its head and part of the thorax. Okay, you can see here, it won't completely get into the pod, okay, and feeds on the seeds. Only the part of the head and thorax actually inserted, whether it may be field bean, red gram, or Bengal gram, or any other beans. Okay, only part of the head and thorax actually goes in and feeds on the internal content. Okay, so then actually it moves to another part and it causes similar type of damage. So as a result of that, okay, so because of this sort of behavior, it attacks more number of parts. Okay, the damage is more than what it actually feeds. So that's how it becomes very problematic. A single larva may destroy 30 to 40 parts before maturity. Okay, it may complete its life cycle in with 2, 3 parts maybe, but so because of this characteristic behavior, okay, it damage more number of parts. So once the wall is formed, okay, what happens? The water enters, so the secondary infection occurs, and entire pod may not be suitable for consumption or for marketing purpose. So as a result, it becomes very serious pest. Okay, so usually the major symptoms which occurs on any of these pulse crop includes irregular bored whorls on parts. Okay, you can see here. So like this. Coming to life history of Helicoverpa armigera. So in adult moth, female moth can lay nearly 1000 eggs, so more than 741 eggs, and eggs are laid singly. So on leaves or near the flower buds or on the pods. Okay, eggs are spherical, sculptured. So in fact, you'll find the ribs, okay, longitudinal ribs like this, very characteristic. In fact, therefore, now egg may contain about 24 number of this type of longitudinal ribs. So sculptured egg, in fact. So it undergoes up to 16 stars. Early stars will find a lot of hairs on its body, and as it grows, okay, so it prefers to attack the economically important part, and pupation occurs in soil. It falls down to the soil and pupate in the soil, okay, to a length of about 6 to 21 days, whereas the larval period takes about 18 to 25 days. Okay, so the total life cycle may be completed within 30 days in the warm condition in the summer period. Coming to identification features of Helicoverpa armigera, larvae, you can see a newly hatched larvae are light in color with tiny dark spots. You can see the tubercles and dark head, and these tubercles will have the spines or the ears. The matured larvae can be identified with the help of, you can see here, a narrow dark median dorsal band, very characteristic. Okay, and on each side of this dorsal band, we'll find the lateral band. Okay, these are actually pale colored. Okay, so these two are pale colored. If you see from the lateral side, you can see here this one. On the lateral line, a broad, very light band. Okay, it's broader, but it is light colored, in which rows of spiracles, you can see here, spiracles are found, very clear. Okay, so these lines, dorsal median band, okay, on each side there is a broad pale band, and again a pale band in case of in the lateral side. So these are the characteristic features of Helicoverpa armigera. In fact, we'll find the lot of color marks based on the host plants attacked, based on the part of the host plant attacked. Okay, you will find the range of colored larvae. But so you'll find, typically you'll find these type of bands on the dorsal side as well as on the lateral side. Thereby you can distinguish the larvae of Helicoverpa armigera. And very important behavior of this Helicoverpa armigera is that larvae are cannibalistic. That means if you group them, if you rear them in a container having more number of larvae, so in fact they eat one another. Okay, usually the larger larvae attacks the young larvae. Thereby, okay, they possess this cannibalistic behavior, and it's a very problematic when you rear the larvae, when you maintain the culture of Helicoverpa armigera. So adult can be identified. You can see in case of female, forewings are reddish brown, whereas the males, the forewings are olive gray colored. Okay, you find small wavy lines, and but they can be easily identified with the help of dark brown circular spot. You can see here. Okay, whether it may be male or female. But in case of hindwings, they are actually pale smoky white, but there is a broad blackish outer border. You can see here. Thereby you can clearly identify the adult of Helicoverpa armigera. There is a sexual dimorphism. Okay, so male and female have got different coloration. Otherwise, this circular spot is very clear. So coming to the second pest, spotted pod borer, Maruca vitrita, which belongs to family Crambidae. So host plants includes most of the legumes. And again, you can see here, this insect is also distributed in many parts of the world, and it is another major pest, in fact. Coming to nature of damage, so here the larvae bore the whorls on the buds, flowers, as well as pods. Okay, so it do acts as webber. In fact, it webs the pods and flowers together, and it feeds on the internal content. So you can see here, so pods on the buds, flowers, or pods. Okay, so it completely enters inside and feed on the internal content, unlike Helicoverpa armigera. So identification features includes, you can see the larvae are dull colored, greenish or yellowish white, with 4 longitudinal rows of spots dorsally. You can see here. Okay, you'll find 2, 3, 4, in fact. So 4 in a single segment, you'll find the 4 spots, okay, which are arranged longitudinal rows. Okay, so this is a very clear identification features of larvae of Maruca vitrita. Whereas adult as is a dark brown colored with a white cross band in the middle of the forewing, and hindwings are actually white with a darker border. You can see here. Okay, so very characteristic. Coming to next pest, Plume moth, Exilastis atomosa, belongs to family Pteroporidae. Again, it's a major pest on legumes wherever it is found. Okay, it's mainly found in India and some of the Southeast Asian countries. Okay, so otherwise it will not distributed in many parts of the world like Maruca vitrata and Ilicara parmigera. So here, in case of Exilastis atomosa, young larvae bore into the unopened flower buds. You can see here, consuming the developing anthers. Okay, so grown-up larvae first scrapes the surface of the pods and then bore into the pods. You can see here, make a small circular spot, hole. Larvae enter the pod completely. So it won't. It never enter the like Ilica parmigera. In fact, where only head and thorax is actually placed inside. Part of thorax is placed inside. It also remains on the surface of the pods and scrapes the green matter of the seed. So symptom includes pinhead-sized holes on the pods, you can see here, and small spiny caterpillars and pupae may be seen on the pods like this, you can see here. So on the pods usually, because they never enter inside, you find these larvae on the pod surface itself. So you can see here, full-grown caterpillar is about 1.3 centimeter in length, greenish brown in color, and fringed with lot of hairs and spines. You can see here. And pupa almost looks like larvae only. Okay, little metamorphosis, little changes actually takes place. Otherwise, it looks like larvae only. So adult, you can see here, forewings longitudinally cleft into two plumes. You can see here, yes, like this. Whereas hindwings into three plumes, 1, 2, 3, like this. Okay, forewings with two clefts and hindwings with into three plumes. Okay, so and again legs are very long and slender. Okay, so adult is lightly built, light brown in color, wings deeply fissured. That means cleft. Okay, forewings are extremely elongating and they are very long compared to hind wings. Okay. Coming to next pest, Oriental blue butterfly, Lampidus bioticus, belongs to family Lycanidae. So butterfly pest. So usually you find moth pests. Most plants, again, you can see number of legumes. Okay, most of the leguminaceous crops are attacked by this blue butterfly. Again, distribution, so Africa and the Asian continents, including Australia. So unless stray reports from North America. So another species of licanids is there, which is called Euchrysops niger. Again, attacks the leguminaceous crops, which is exclusively found in India and Southeast Asian countries. So this nature of damage of this blue butterfly includes buds, flowers, and young parts with bored walls. So you'll find these small warts and presence of slug-like caterpillar. Okay, so these lichenids are also called slug-like caterpillar, and so they do secrete honeydew. For this, ants are attracted. So another characteristic behavior of these lichenids. So larvae feeds inside the developing grains. You can see are making holes and feeding inside. So larval identification, it looks like slug. That's why they're called slug-like caterpillar. Larvae is covered with small setae, small ears. So they maybe have got brownish mid the dorsal line. You can see here like this. So usually color maybe yellowish green to yellowish red or light purple colored like this. So color may variation across different species. It may be Euchrysops niger or Lampidus bioticus. Even the adults differs in case of Lampidus bioticus, male and female of Euchrysops niger. In case of Lampidus bioticus, the male has got violet blue colored with hair-like streak. You can see here. In fact, lichenids are called hair streaks. Whitish scales are actually dispersed all along the body or the entire surface of both the wings. In case of female, they are slightly brownish colored. Some shining blue scales at the base of both the wings. You can see here. Okay, and in the interior portion of the forewing. Yeah. Okay, so you can see the color marks. So sexual dimorphism in case of male and female, and even in case of Euchrysops niger. So pale purplish in case of male, whereas the dark brown in case of female. Okay, so that variation occurs, but most of these either maybe male or female, a large round black subterminal spot and a smaller spot is found. You can see it. Okay, so but the color variation is common across male and female in both of these species. Coming to next pest, spiny pod borer, Etiella jinkinella, belongs to family Pyralidae. So again, most of the leguminaceous crops are attacked, and again, this has got worldwide distribution. So young larvae may bore into the floral parts, making rough and irregular cutting. Okay, so mature larvae may attacks getting into the parts and feed on the developing seeds. Okay, entrance hole in the green pod disappears. Okay, because minute larva enters inside. and as it grows, that minute wall may get covered up, but larva enters inside and feed on the internal content, seeds. Okay, so as a result, little evidence is found on the pod surface. Okay, so but if you open the pod, you'll find the larva inside and the damaged seeds. In the pods, the larvae devours many seeds. The pod always contain a mass of frass and held together by loosely spun web. You can see a very characteristic damage by Etella zincinella. So larvae can be identified with a greenish larva having 5 black spots on the prothorax. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, and another is there that side, 5 black spots. And the adult moth is grayish brown with a distinct white band. You can see here. This is the white band in it sits actually. You find this type of white band along the coastal margin of the forewing. You can see here. And hind wings are semi-transparent with dark marginal line. Okay, yeah. Next pest, field bean pod borer, Adisura atkinsoni. Okay, so it majorly attacks field bean, especially in the winter season. Okay, and also rarely attacks the pigeon pea. Distribution, you can see India, China, and some of the South Asian countries, Japan, and New Guinea, Indonesia, and other countries. So nature of damage, at first look, it looks like Illicor parmigera. Okay, it is a very close relative of Illicor parmigera, but unlike Illicor parmigera, it completely enter inside the pod, you can see here. Okay, and feed on the internal content. So that is the differentiating behavior of Illicor parmigera and another this close relative Adisura atkinsoni. You can see here. So here also you'll find this irregular white board wall. Okay, if the larvae is not found, you'll find the damage. So young larvae bore into the floral parts and feeds on it. Affected flowers and parts have irregular board walls. Okay. So identification, larvae are robust, green in color, resemble gram pod borer. I was telling that it looks like Illicor parmigera, except the presence of dark brown lateral stripes. You can see here this lateral stripe. If you no, these lateral stripes are not there, it almost looks like Illicor parmigera on each side and the armpit segment. Larvae are greenish, having brown lateral marking on the body. Okay, here if you see from the lateral side also, you find the brownish marking line running across from medial to last abdominal segment. So moths are yellowish brown in color and forewings are yellow colored with V-shaped specks. Okay, and hind wings are actually pale brown markings. So in fact, if you open the hind wings, you will find that darker margin like Illicor parmigera. I was telling it is close relative. Okay, that's why it sometimes it confuses with Illicor parmigera. But in the larval stage, it's very clear. Okay, you can find these lateral stripes. So the next pest is red gram pod fly. Okay, Melanogramoisa obtusa, agromized. So majorly again, pigeon pea, mung bean, cowpea to lesser extent. So most of the leguminous crops. Distribution you can see here India, China, and Southeast Asian countries, Australia, and part of North America, including few parts of South America. So Florida, Brazil, and other countries. So nature of damage, you can see here the maggot feed on the surface just under the seeds epidermis, and thereafter tunnels deeper into the seeds. Okay, so larvae damage the maggots actually damage the pigeon pea and reduce the yield by feeding on and destroying the developing seeds. So you will find usually eggs are laid on the parts, and the maggot which actually make a very minute wall where actually it gets sunken. You'll find this very clear entry wall of maggot. So even if you closely observe, you'll clearly find this type of small wall. So if you open up, you'll find the damaged seeds inside, or it may be in the maggot stage or in the pupa stage, or adult might have escaped. A single egg is laid per lacule, in fact, although as many as 22 eggs have been found on a single pod, on the entire pod. Okay, so it never leaves the pod. The maggot actually never leaves the pod in which it enters. Okay, and completes its maggot stage by feeding on the single grain. Okay, very characteristic in fact. So these are the maggot which are white in color and dark brown mouth hook and pupa, you can see here. So this is the damaged grain, and adult is a small fly, maybe 2/10 or 3/10 of a house fly, very small fly in fact. Damaged seeds do not germinate at all. Okay, cannot expect. Okay, may or may not be consumed. So, and even the market value is reduced. Even slightly damaged seeds receive a lower price in the market. So that's definite. So that's how now these pests become very problematic. So now, if you think of management of these borer pests which we discussed, 6 or 7 pests which we discussed, so depending on the crop, depending on the pulse crops attacked, so we need to design the management strategies. So we need not to think of designing the management strategy or applying management strategy for each of those pests. So depending on the severity, we may concentrate on single pest, but if 2 or more pod borer pests are found, so we need to go for integrated pest management strategies so that comprehensively we can manage the all the borer pests. Okay, as I was telling that the economically important parts of the pulses is the are the parts. Okay, so we need to protect them. So that's why we need to go for IPM strategies. So cultural control includes deep summer flowing to eliminate pupa. So many of these pests, in fact, pupate in soil. Okay, especially Liquor Parmigiana, Surat, Kinsoni, like that, the important pests. So deep summer flowing exposes the pupa to sunshine as well as for predators. Early sowing, short duration varieties. Okay, so synchronous sowing is very much important cultural practice. Avoid closer plant spacing. So thick sowing, in fact, attracts the pests. Increase the humidity, increase the activity of insects. Grow tall sorghum as companion crop to serve as biological bird perches. So because of these larvae actually very typically can be easily observed by these avian predators especially. They can be easily picked if you know no, erected many of the bird perches, or if you have grown this tall sorghum crop. So birds come and sit on that crop and easily identify the larvae of these insects and pick them and eat. Collect and destroy larvae and adults to extent possible. So wherever, when you are doing any other cultural practices, whenever you find the larvae or adults of any of these stages, any of these insect species, you need to collect them and destroy them. So these are the few of the cultural practices. So mechanical practices includes pheromone traps at the distance of 50 meter, 12 traps per hectare, especially we have now pheromone traps for Heliconia parmigera. Install bird perches. Okay, so if you are not grown sorghum as companion crop, setting light traps. Most of these moths, in fact, moth pests are attracted to light. So that can be set and they can be collected and destroyed or we need to kill them. Biological control, we need to go for trichogramma chilonis release at weekly interval at the rate of 1.5 lakh per hectare per week for 4 times. So especially starting from flowering stage, we need to protect these economically important part. So conserve green lacewing, predatory stink bugs, spiders, ants. Okay, so conserve means we need to reduce the insecticidal sprays, number of insecticidal spray we apply. If you reduce the insecticidal apply based on damage rate which you observe, ETL we observe under the field condition. So we can encourage the growth of these natural parasitoids, predators. Okay, so these population actually checks the insect to a very lower level and reduce the damage. And very important culture, biological practice which is followed is against especially Heliconia parmigera nuclear polyhedrosis virus at the rate of 250 LE per hectare. So this has to be mixed with TPAL 0.1% and jaggery. Okay, an adherent. So that increases the activity of NPV. Okay, and now reduce the pest damage of Heliconia parmigera. So this has to be spread thrice at 10 to 15 days interval commencing from flowering stage. Okay, so from flowering, okay, the management of these pod borer pests is very much important. Okay, because the incidence actually starts from the flowering stage itself. So if you manage that time itself, okay, so the damage caused on the parts can be reduced. Chemical control is a last strategy, but very important strategy. But now if you have followed all these 3 previous strategies, in fact, so we can reduce the number of insecticidal sprays. So first spray can be taken up with thiodicarb at the rate of 0.6 gram or prophenophos 2 ml per liter of water to kill the eggs. So these insecticides have got ovicidal action. So most of these eggs get killed. So second spray may be with NSK 5% twice coinciding in flowering stage. So that increases the activity of natural enemies. And then indoxacarb or novaluran at the rate of 1 ml per liter. So this novaluran is actually insect growth regulator, especially very effective against these lepidopteran pests. So these are the integrated pest management strategies targeting the pod borer pests of pulses. So I'll end this lecture with few questions. How do you distinguish the adults of Lampidas, Viaticus, and Euchrysops nigus, these lichenid pests in the adult stage? Distinguishing character of larvae and adults of Helicoverpa parmigera. So very important questions asked in most of the competitive exams. So when you visit the field, you should be able to recognize the larvae and adults of Helicoverpa parmigera. What are the naturally occurring parasitoids against Helicoverpa parmigera? Okay, so that needs to be encouraged. Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, you can post below or you can email me as well. Thank you. Thank you very much.